traveled to Montreal to take on Arturo Gatti. He said that he had never felt the kind of punching power that Gatti brought to the fight, but nevertheless, Hutchinson was able to produce a cut over Gatti's eye that bothered Arturo throughout the fight. How many times have we seen that? Gatti wound up with a unanimous decision. Hutchinson and his followers thought the score should have at least been much closer, and that credential got him enough notice to bring him here.
He was a Midwestern suspect going into that fight, undefeated, but he took so many good shots from Gatti that suddenly he becomes a legitimate opponent for a young fighter like Camacho Jr.
Joe Hutchinson, at 30 years old, makes his first trip to New York, and he's not the first ever to have said, "There are just too many people here for me." He's kind of looking forward to getting back to Indianapolis.
Yeah, and his 5 kids.
Father of 5, could not turn down the opportunity to take this fight, even though coming back from Gatti's thunder with only 2 months to prepare for a fighter like Camacho Jr. is not the ideal way to come to the fight. 18-1-2 the record against totally anonymous opposition except for Gatti. 8 KOs for Hutchinson. And here comes Camacho Jr., who says that he's different from his dad, but acknowledges that he was inspired to become a boxer by an experience that took place in this building 14 years ago, when his father, at the height of his career, took on Edwin Rosario in a big battle here, and Hector Jr. led his dad into the ring, shadowboxed with his dad in the ring in front of the assembled crowd, and told us, "I remembered the thrill of coming into the ring. I remembered the response of the crowd when I shadowboxed with my dad, and I told myself then and there, this is what I wanted to do with my life." Now he fights for the first time in New York. He was born and raised here, but lives his life with his wife and child in Puerto Rico.
Another legendary boxing family from New York. Floyd Patterson and Tracy Patterson, the only other father-son champions in the history of the sport. Camacho still has that goal, but he is still away from it. Right now, what he is a Camacho sequel. Is the sequel as good as the original?
So he's entering the ring as Lady Liberty? No. Lady Liberty was a piñata, and he's busted himself out of the piñata to step on. This is a thoroughly engaging young man.
Yeah.
And he has, at least on the surface, a spectacularly balanced attitude toward his dad. He says about his father, "I think he's tremendously entertaining. He's a nut. I can't take him terribly seriously all the time, but I am inspired by his ability to both entertain as well as fight, and I'll take the best of what he did and build on it."
You know, Senior was like this hyper 6-year-old bouncing off the walls. Energy that never stopped. Junior is more like a fun-loving, clever teenager.
So what you're saying is that even if he spends his life as a perpetual teenager, he'll have a big edge in maturity on his dad.
No matter how long they live, that will be true.
I have to agree with you. Hutchinson said that he would not be thrown off by however long it takes for Camacho Jr. to get into the ring, but he did say it'll be motivation for him to try to embarrass Camacho Jr. in the first round. Incidentally, Camacho Jr. is nothing if not audacious, and speaking of audacity, there's his dad dancing as he waits for him on the canvas. But Camacho Jr. told us that his ambition is to be the next Henry Armstrong of the sport. And by that he means that he wants to hold 3 world championships simultaneously. He would like to win a world title at 135 and at 140 and at 147, and not necessarily in that order.
Will you tell me what's going on here? Is this some kind of long-distance dance? What are we waiting on?
Well, if I knew what was going on, I would tell you what was going on.
Junior time runs very slowly.
Now Junior has decided to move forward toward the ring.
No, just bring action. No action. No action. No action.
And the record for Hector Comacho Jr. At this moment in his career, his father was 29-0 after his 29th pro fight, and Hector Jr. is 29-0 after his 29th pro fight.
Madison Square Garden, New York City, where tonight Cedric Kushner Promotions, in association with your undisputed, undefeated king of beers, Budweiser, always proud to be your bud, present HBO World Championship Boxing, sanctioned by the New York State Athletic Commission. This first bout is presented in association with America Presents. The 3 judges assigned to ringside scoring this contest on the 10-point must system will be Larry Hazard Jr., Melvina Lathan, and Steve Weisfeld. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Steve Smoger. And now, ladies and gentlemen, 10 rounds of boxing in the junior welterweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing green trimmed with white letters and weighing in at 137.5 pounds. His professional record, 18 victories with only 1 loss and 2 bouts even by draw, with 8 of his victories have been by KO. Gentlemen, he is the pride of Indianapolis, Indiana. Here is Little Joe Hutchinson. And across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white, red and blue, and weighing in at 141.5 pounds. A professional record, a perfect one, 29-0, including 17 victories by knockout, and he is rated #1 in the world by the WBA. Ladies and gentlemen, from San Juan, Puerto Rico, it's junior time. Here is the undefeated Hector Comacho Jr.
Stay sharp. Stay alert. Move their heads.
Joe? All right, gentlemen, you were given your instructions at the weigh-in. I want you to obey my commands at all times. Protect yourself at all times and respect the bell. God bless. Touch gloves.
Junior admits he has big shoes to fill. Perhaps we'll get a clue to how well he may fill them one day tonight.
I wonder if it's disconcerting for Junior to see his dad there in his corner, since he said to us yesterday in our meeting, I certainly hope my dad is nowhere near my corner. He'll probably be on top of the Empire State Building. He mentioned one previous fight in which his dad was working in his corner. And when he came back to the corner after the 6th round, there was no more water in his water bottle because his dad had been out partying the night before and it was a bit, how you say, dehydrated. So his dad said, oh, well, go knock the guy out and you won't need any water.
Now, Junior's got to make this crowd love him. And the way you do that is get yourself a good knockout. They'll forget about your dad and love you more. Hutchinson has got to fight, fight, fight. No excuses.
Anybody who stood in for 10 rounds against Gotti at this weight is going to be a tough man to knock out.
A lot of guys want to get in and say, I didn't have enough time, I wasn't prepared. But this is his night to steal the show. It's right there for him.
The quickness of Comacho Jr., right-left combination. Hutchinson vowed to go to the body early and as hard as he can. Getting to the body of a fighter as quick as Comacho Jr., no easy proposition.
Hutchinson has already decided every time he's hit by Comacho Jr., he comes right back to the body with a shot.
Incidentally, it is southpaw, as you can see. I don't know if we ever mentioned in pre-fight that Hutchinson, too, is a southpaw.
you're fighting a guy like that, Camacho Jr. better prepare to use a jab, punch, and move out of the way, because this guy intends to be there for the night. Hutchinson can take a punch. Camacho Jr. is already deciding to throw hard body shots.
Good left hand up top by Comacho Jr.
When you're fighting a guy like Hutchinson, you gotta go to the body. You gotta go to the body, and you gotta do it early.
Well, and if Comacho Jr. indeed focuses on the body, and you saw a combination to the body there, that'll be another element of his arsenal that's different from his dad.
That's right. He's already starting with his right hook to the body, and the headshots are not going to bother Hutchinson. He's intending to weather the storm and be there to the 6th and 7th round.
You need only to see this round to see that Hutchinson is a strong fighter for this weight class. Sturdy. So Comacho Jr. will have to break him apart piece by piece if he's going to get the KO that would excite the crowd.
Understand that? Keep him up.
Steve Smoger
right,
telling
Joey?
Jr. to keep him up.
Got to keep him up. Camacho hit Hutchinson low. Hutchinson responded with his own below the belt shot. That's the
professional.
way to do it.
That's professional.
Hutchinson is doing a good job of absorbing punishing, but you don't follow around a big puncher like that and just wait to be hit. You got to follow him around punching him also.
Collectors, we feature the finest in sports memorabilia, including a rare Muhammad Ali item on our live internet auction. And then we've got our main event. Hector Comacho Jr. weighed in 13 pounds heavier than Hutchinson. So I got to ask, where is he hiding those extra 13 pounds? I guess that's why he's wearing those shorts. I can just see him getting dressed for the fight. Honey, do these satin streamer shorts over my Speedo make...
Ponle frente tú.
All right, let's get that spit bucket there. That was our round. We won that round. That was an easy one. You keep going the same way. Outbox him.
Kilo. Put a little bit more speed on them punches. Yeah. A little more punches. All right. More punches. Come on, you gotta go. Okay. You gotta dig, okay? All right. Okay. You took his best.
Camacho Sr. yelling from ringside, stop loading up. It will come.
And you may have noticed in Joe Hutchinson's corner the very familiar figure of trainer Don Turner, one of the real top veteran trainers in the sport. Trainer, of course, of Evander Holyfield and Michael Grant and Clifford Etienne, all in the heavyweight division, but he ventures outside the heavyweight division from time to time and is here with Hutchinson tonight.
Camacho has got to make certain that if this guy follows you, you got to hit him with 3 shots. Don't do it with 1, and keep your body out of his way. Do not allow this guy to hit you in the body, because he's going to be there for the latter rounds. You just want to make certain your power is in your pocket. And the way to lose it is to get hit in the body.
Interesting that while Camacho Jr. will playfully, in conversation, discount his father's influence, between rounds, he listened partially with one ear to his trainer and cocked his head outside the ring several times to listen to what his father was saying to him from down here near press row.
Let him out, Junior. Let him out. Let him out. Let him out, Joey. Let him out.
Hutchinson is pursuing Camacho Jr. like the Tasmanian devil or something. Keeps his eye on him, he stops every punch, and gets right back with something of his own.
Well, if I'm fighting a flashy fighter who comes from a flashy fighter heritage, my instinct is to say, let's put pressure on him, see if he can handle it.
He's fighting, no doubt about it. He's fighting him, he holds him, gets in the clutch, he punches. He gets hit on the head, he punches back.
Push off.
Hutchinson getting the largest purse of his career by far tonight. But as he said to us, the money's only part of it. It's what it can do for me in the future that means a lot more.
That large purse, Jim, is just $35,000.
And it's way above whatever he's gotten before. Crowd roars with surprise as Camacho Jr. wobbles slightly.
No, I just thought he stumbled off balance a little. I didn't think that was a result of a punch.
Totally agree.
I think Comacho Jr. should start establishing his boxing skills. Box, 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 and let the punch, the power come on his own. Don't just go out there reaching for a knockout.
Keep going.
If you got power, the knockouts come to you if you're accurate.
Fascinating that our scales tonight, unofficial of course, HBO scales in the dressing rooms, established that Camacho Jr. outweighs Hutchinson by 13 pounds, 154 to 141. Can you see a 13-pound difference in the ring?
Yeah, I can see it all right.
Yeah?
I can see it.
There's a...
You got to keep boxing him. You know what you're doing. You can outbox this guy. We're doing all right.
You can't get set, man. Right. Put a little bit more speed in it. A little more speed. A little more punches, man. Keep your hands up inside.
Here's a look at that. Half trip, half stumble over Hutchinson's foot. Not the result of a clean punch.
In round one, Camacho Jr. threw 57 punches. In round two, he threw only 39, and Hutchinson threw 58 punches. So at least in terms of sheer activity, it was Hutchinson who stepped up the pace in the second round.
I think Camacho's corners told him now to box. He can win this boxing match pretty easily if he doesn't turn it into a slugfest. The punching power is there for him if he just waits his time. You saw that when he jabbed, Hutchinson can only just curl up.
Harold, how'd you score the first two rounds?
Okay, Jim, I got it all even, 19 to 19. No question Hector won the first round, those beautiful combinations. But the second round, Joe Hutchinson just outworked him. He pressed forward, banged him in the body, and he kept Hector backing up.
Hey, don't punch, don't punch.
And remember that Camacho Jr. had to go back in later yesterday to lose a lot of weight. So he's probably wondering, where's my power? And sometimes that's what happened trying to lose weight in the last minute.
Well, he weighed in 3/4 of a pound over and had to lose that.
But you just don't go out and spit it away.
No, it's always a distraction at least.
No, it burns you out.
Watch your heads, watch your heads. Break. Joe, you got to keep
Those are the hours that you want to really rest.
You all right, babe?
And reserve, conserve your strength. When you're out there burning it out, trying to lose that extra pound.
Shows up in the later rounds.
Yeah. But you don't just go out and lose 3/4. You try to go out and lose a pound or two.
Push off.
And these are guys who are in shape. To take a pound off of that kind of body, it's not an easy task.
I just found where the weight difference is, George. Look at the thickness of Camacho's legs. Not all that visible with those kinds of trunks, but when you see it, he's got big legs.
You mean those? You mean that wedding train?
Yeah, there you go. That's exactly right.
Camacho's got to be careful not to hurt his hands on the elbows of Hutchinson, because a lot of those body shots he's throwing are going right down there to those hard elbows. He's finding his rhythm as a boxer now, Camacho Jr. is.
Let him out, let him out, let him out.
I think he should have done that early on. Just look to box.
If Gaddy hadn't landed some of his hard shots on Hutchinson and Hutchinson hadn't taken him, you'd begin to wonder whether Camacho's power was real. But this is a guy who's very tough.
Push off,
as he said.
Push off, go ahead, keep working.
I've got 5 kids, and I'm hungry.
Camacho is hungry for success and fame. That's 2 kinds of hunger.
Hurry, don't punch, don't punch. Step out, step out. Focus, that's it, that's it.
Round 3 coming to a close, and we have boxing competition in the theater at Madison Square Garden. Let's take a moment now to look at upcoming programs here on HBO Sports.
You're watching Guys TV on TSN, and immediately following our show, it's another edition of The Desk with David Amber and Corey Warren as they take you through all of the night's action. And speaking of action, we got ourselves a fight. Welcome back to our quaint little set. We alluded to it a little bit. Joe Hutchinson fought Arturo Gatti in Montreal. I saw that fight. It was a great fight. Most of Gatti's bouts are. He is a tough competitor. Now, Gatti got cut open in that fight. It was severe. Had he not been fighting in Montreal, there was a favorable decision as they allowed the bout to continue because he was severely split open. Hutchinson, unfortunately, didn't win that fight. Perhaps in any other province or any other state, he would have. It would have been stopped. Nonetheless, they continued. He lost, but he's very much in this bout. We've got another round coming up.
In the third round, by CompuBox numbers, Camacho Jr. 15 of 49, Hutchinson 19 of 42. Camacho Jr. landing only 11 of 40 jabs through round number 3, so it is by no means a mismatch, despite the fact that Hutchinson took the fight on only 7 days' notice and is less than 2 months removed from his tough battle with Arturo Gatti in Montreal.
A fight like that will keep you in shape for 2 years afterwards, believe me. This guy is acting like a Tasmanian devil, as I said earlier. No matter what he's hit with, he's not deterred. He keeps coming.
Well, his determination is totally evident, and there he is trading shots with Camacho.
You don't want to do that, though. You want to stay on him and keep fighting him, but don't go into trading with Camacho Jr. because he is definitely a hard puncher. Catch him waiting and thinking and then throw your shots. When he starts trying to fight you, box him.
Larry, early in his career, before his fight with Rosario here in the Garden in 1986, would you say Camacho Sr. was a hard puncher?
He wasn't a hard puncher, but he threw volumes of punches. He was a very fast puncher. He just was quicker than speed.
He was quicker than anybody.
Yeah, and so that counted for a kind of power, if not pure knockout power.
Oh! Vicious low blow right on the middle of the protective cup. And 5 minutes allowed to Joe Hutchinson here. Steve Smoger making that point immediately to the scoring table.
Stop the regular clock.
And Hutchinson badly distressed by that low blow.
A lot of that
What happened, George?
1 point. Over 1 point.
There it is.
1 point.
But a lot of that is happening because his hand is hitting those elbows, and you're trying to get your hand out of the way of those elbows, and you'll go low. Sometimes, like Camacho Jr.'s hands are pretty hurting now because he's throwing a lot of shots to those elbows of this man.
You know, Hutchinson has had a very hard introduction to the upper levels of the game because he absorbed a number of really hard low blows from Gatti as well. And the referee has already deducted a point from Camacho.
Because Camacho was warned in the second round by Smoger. So now here in the fourth, a point is deducted. And we told you it was a close competitive fight. That makes it even more so. Now at this moment, professionalism dictates that Camacho make every effort to win the round so that it's a 9-9 instead of 9-10.
Well, he's going to have to get some instructions from the corner to let him understand that no matter what he does, he's got to be further ahead than he thought he was. Get further ahead.
You saw Hutchinson's arm on the back of Camacho's head pulling downward as Camacho hit him with the low blow. But I don't think Hutchinson's force on Camacho was enough to produce the low blow all by itself.
You see how Hutchinson uses his elbows real good?
Yep.
Make you hurt your hands. Your knuckles are sore. You can believe Camacho Jr. is having some sore knuckles now. He's looking for a place to put those punches. Hit those arms again.
3-punch combination followed by a little jab, and he steps out. Very good work by Camacho.
Yeah, but those are punches.
There's a low blow by Hutchinson right there. And Camacho Jr. looked at Smoger as if he expected him to do something about that low blow. And Hutchinson got away. And now Smoger goes to Hutchinson's corner to remind him that he, too, has to keep his punches up.
Do watches dream? This one does. The Seiko Kinetic Auto Relay goes to sleep for up to 4 years when unworn, resetting itself to the exact time with the simple movement of your wrist.
A canola crop in Canada yields a more bountiful harvest. A patient has a medicine she needs. A boy can survive a childhood disease. A corn crop can protect itself from certain pests. Because discoveries in biotechnology are helping to treat our sick and protect our crops. Biotechnology researchers test and test to find new solutions. Solutions that are improving lives today and could improve our world tomorrow.
You're a business person. You want to become a fast company. So, now you're a business person in the new economy. Juggling customers, suppliers, bills, not to mention hardware, software, wireless, internet, data, and voice needs. Oh, and by the way, you've got a business to run. Or you can call TELUS.
Tom, why don't you take some time off?
Ed, I'm about to break the biggest story in this paper's history.
You don't have a story.
What are you talking about? I got medical evidence, fingerprints. I can prove everyone in this country's unique.
So?
So they deserve their own cell phone plans.
You're on vacation, pal. Starting now.
Who got to you, Ed? Who got to you?
Introducing your plan from Rogers AT&T Wireless, featuring 2 months unlimited local calling. Imagine.
I told him he's got to keep him up.
Feign him, make him duck, step over. He's always ducking this way. Feign him, make him duck, and you step over and bang him. Okay. You know what a feint is, don't you? Yeah.
You're not throwing any punches inside.
I better.
Yeah, you can. You're not throwing no punches inside.
All right. We won all the rounds. Even though that was a low blow, that happens in boxing. That's okay. Let's breathe in. Breathe in through the nose and your mouth.
Okay.
Interested observer at ringside, refugee from the heavyweight division. And later this evening, between fights, we'll be talking with 2 other heavyweights, the men who will contest the heavyweight championship next Saturday night in Las Vegas. Lennox Lewis and David Tua standing by in Vegas for a live conversation between fights.
Tyson is said to be a big fan of Shane Mosley, which I presume is why he's here.
If you're a purist as a fighter, and Mike's background gives him that identity, then you have to love Shane Mosley, who's a throwback. He fights like the fighters you might have seen in the 50s and 60s.
Comacho is trying to establish his boxing superiority, but he keeps going back to the power punches. You notice when he throws a hard shot, nothing comes afterwards.
Through the first 4 rounds, the CompuBox numbers were relatively even, a small margin for Comacho in terms of number of punches landed. They had both thrown just about the same amount. A point has been deducted from Comacho for low blows, so he's in a competitive bout here as we reach the 5th of a scheduled 10.
The Hutchinson corner told him to feint, make Comacho step over to his to Hutchinson's right, and then throw that hook. He's feinting, but he's not throwing the hook. Comacho is pretty smart. He goes over there every now and then, he bends over, but then periodically throws a straight left hand to make you think, you better not feint me, I'm going to get you. There's a little rhythm to that madness.
Hutchinson determined to give as good as he gets. Following Comacho Jr. around the ring.
Push him on. Hey, don't punch.
Hutchinson is committed to taking the shots. Comacho hasn't landed one straight shot tonight. That's where he's been getting his knockouts, with that straight left hand. Or coming back with a hook afterwards. He hasn't been able to land one straight left hand yet. When he does, he can change things. Everything is on the side of the head.
Leaping right hook by the southpaw Hutchinson.
When he's able to land that straight left hand, you can see a different fight. He's trying his best to step out there and wait for it. That was the first one. It wasn't quite straight, but it was starting to get in. There's another one.
Straight left.
But it's out to the side just a little bit. If he can ever just straighten it out just a little bit.
Uppercut by Hutchinson is low. And now Comacho gets the 5-minute time limit.
Stop the clock. 5-minute clock.
With only 5 seconds remaining in the round. And let's take a look at the punch.
Boom.
Well, it was borderline, but a little bit south.
But this rest does not benefit Camacho Jr. He's got this guy on the run. He's got him a little weak. He should be on his case now. But 5 minutes hurts Camacho Jr.
But he may get a point out of this, and that would be worth it.
One point. I'll take a point.
And there's the point. 1 point deducted from Hutchinson because he had been warned. Good call. So that evens the penalties at a point apiece. And now we're halfway through the bout.
Oh.
I know, that's painful just to watch.
Things were starting to get pretty ugly there with those low blows.
Exactly, because every guy watching the show knows the pain that they're feeling. And I don't think 5 minutes is enough to clear that up. But
They
no.
didn't take the 5, though.
You know what? Even if they give me 10 points, no thanks.
It's not worth
thanks,
it.
Not in the neither region.
Hey, speaking of low down and ugly, did you see Tyson in the audience there?
I did.
Who was that? Was that his wife he was with?
Oh, I don't know who that was. Sparring partner, maybe. I'm not really sure who he was hanging out with there. Now, what do you and Tyson both have in common?
What's that,
You
Darren?
both probably want to nibble on my ear. More boxing's coming up.
Oh, my God.
Still ahead, our main event. WBC welterweight champion Sugar Shane Mosley and Antonio Diaz face off in the ring. But when we return, the conclusion of the Comacho Jr. and Hutchinson fight on Guys TV.
One of the rewards of owning a Toyota is parts and service with no surprises or worries. Because let's face it, you got way better stuff to do.
Ah, the sounds of Swiss Chalet and the new dishes we call savory favorites. Beef up stir fry, penne fiesta, fireside chili, and a savory southern bake. For lunch or dinner, it's Swiss Chalet. And by the way, we also serve chicken.
That should taste as good as Swiss Chalet.
Over the years, Canadians have been getting a lot more mileage out of their cars, trucks, and minivans. And we've been doing our part. AC Delco, automotive parts you can count on to keep you going and going and going. So whatever you drive and wherever you go, ask your service professional for AC Delco parts.
It's like buying time.
Okay, curling fans, now in the hat, that world-famous curler guy. But it's Guy. My mistake. Folks, Guy has a rock in each hand. If he can draw to the button with both, Nokia Briar Weekend Odyssey packages will be selling like hotcakes. Kids, do not attempt this at home. Should I hurry hard? Quick, quick! What? No, the other one. Pick a rock.
What a shot.
No, sweep.
Good shot.
Sweeping.
That was a good shot.
Sweeping.
That was a good shot.
Hey, need a good player?
Do you know any?
Show us what a champion is. Come on, come on. Come on, baby. Let's get You don't want it down there. Keep banging it down there. Okay?
Toma, se vio aquí. Vámonos. Come on, let's go.
Camacho Jr. averaging by CompuBox numbers just 13 jabs per round attempted. So he's been more interested in fighting than in boxing through the first 5 rounds, George.
Hutchinson can take a shot like this and keep fighting 7 days notice. What would he do if he was in training for a month?
Well, he says he's a gym rat and never leaves the gym. Increasingly, incidentally, the fighters we find at the top of the sports are the ones who train year-round, whether or not they have a fight.
Evidently, he's one. Hutchinson. Camacho had him going pretty good with those straight left hands. He was walking right into them. So that wrist broke it.
Well, Hutchinson said after the Gotti fight, I didn't take any time off. I went right back into the gym because I had a hunch something good might happen as the result of it. So his business instincts were entirely correct. And he's had a manager who has stuck with him for 5 or 6 years, despite the fact that the guy hadn't made any money. That's the kind of loyalty that's priceless in this sport. Camacho Jr. looking at Smoger, who once again urges the fighters to keep him up.
Camacho Jr. is doing good when he throws that straight right left hand. Whenever he stays right with that, he got payday coming.
Let him out, let him out. Hey, don't punch.
Right hand for Hutchinson.
Don't punch, don't punch. Step, step.
Generally speaking, when Hutchinson has landed, he's landed 1 punch at a time. Camacho has been able to land combinations.
Now he's got him going now. Camacho has got to start sticking with his jab, and moving around and trying to effectively.
Jim, there's a cut by the right eye of Hutchinson. Hard to say at this point how dangerous it is.
Smoker taking a look at it. Camacho going at it with the left hand.
That straight left is his payday. If he can just stick with a little jab, go down to the body a few times to confuse him, then he's got payday. Hutchinson's better. Don't wait.
Big left hand by Camacho.
Got to stop waiting around for Camacho to hit him because he is going to hit him.
Hey. Go rabbit punch, baby.
That is again.
Hutchinson getting beaten to the punch repeatedly by Camacho Jr.
Turn into the fight of his life. I guess you don't expect that in your hometown, New York.
Kind of amazing to me that this is the first time Junior's ever fought in New York. You would have thought.
That's it. He's walking right into it. His corner better tell him to stop walking into this guy.
Or if you're going to do it, keep your hands up.
Joseph, you're waiting too long.
Pete here for IBM. It's easy to see why people think portable computers can be out of reach. Not the new IBM ThinkPad i-Series, the most affordable ThinkPads ever. This one's just $14.99. $14.99. Buy it today, and we ship it out today. It's thin, just 1.5 inches. It's light, but no lightweight. Inside, it's got the powerful Intel Celeron processor, large hard drive, and a high-speed CD-ROM. Preloaded with Windows ME and lots of software, too. The IBM ThinkPad i-Series 1200. Portable, affordable, with an Intel Celeron processor, carrying case, and IBM's worldwide round-the-clock support. Order today, we ship it out today for just $14.99 while supplies last, shipping included. Makes a great gift. Order it today or call about great deals on our other ThinkPads. 1-877-722-7707. Online, ibm.ca/Pete.
Enter $1 Million Score with VTech, and when Toronto scores, so could you. You could win $1 million if any Toronto player scores 5 goals during a TSN telecast. Or for every goal scored by Toronto on TSN, you could win VTech's new 2.4 gigahertz digital spread Spectrum cordless phone. Or win VTech's new handheld personal digital assistant, the Helio. Send your entry to our P.O. Box or email our website for your chance to win $1 million and score with VTech.
Lennox Lewis, heavyweight king of the ring.
Nobody takes my crown. Nobody.
David Tua wants it.
It's my destiny.
A Samoan warrior with the best knockout record of any fighter Lewis has ever faced.
You want it? Come and get it.
Lewis versus Tua, November 11th, live on pay-per-view. Can the Crown survive the Fury?
Join us tomorrow night for Sunday Night Football as the New York Jets and the Indianapolis Colts look to rebound after a tough Week 10 loss. That's 8:30 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night right here on TSN. Welcome back. Well, so far, Joe Hutchinson's been holding up pretty well against Hector Comacho Jr. And it kind of makes you wonder what would happen if he'd had more than a week's notice to prepare for this fight. Even so, the crowd is definitely looking for a knockout. So let's see if our showgirl Comacho can deliver.
Accidental butt. Smoker telling both corners that the cut is the result of an accidental butt.
You okay? Come on, let's start digging, man.
I'd like to see that accidental butt. This guy's been hit with a lot of straight lefts.
Yeah. Come on. Take it off.
Accidental headbutt.
Smoger telling both corners that the cut is the result of an accidental headbutt, and we have a videotape replay of what we think might be the punch that caused the cut.
I suck it up. You the man.
Mouthpiece in, let's go.
You the man.
When are we going to see that replay?
Don't wait on him. Get the mouthpiece in? Yeah, okay, let's go.
Could this have been the punch that caused it? Or could that have been the butt that caused it? That could have been the butt that caused it if, in fact, Smoker's right, and it was the product of an accidental butt.
Don't punch, don't punch.
So many repeated straight lefts on the side of that face, there's no way you can come to an absolute conclusion that it was a butt.
Harold Letterman, how do you have it through 6?
Okay, Jim. I got it 4-1-1, 58-54, Hector Comacho Jr. I gave Joe Hutchinson the second round, but the rest of the fight, I'm just impressed by Hector's speed, by his combinations. Most of the time, he throws 2, 3, 4 shots at a time. I think he's learning to clean a harder punches, and he's winning this fight. You got to call that round 4 9-9 because that's what Hector won, lost the point. The other round they called 10-8. That's the 5th round because Joe Hutchinson lost it and lost the point.
When you're going to follow a guy like Camacho around, you got to move your head left, right, or right, left, right, left. You just can't walk into him as Hutchinson is doing. Hutchinson is as tough as nails.
And if you're going to stalk and get into range, throw a punch when you arrive. Don't just step into range and take a punch.
You got to step into range while you're punching.
Yeah, because all too often Hutchinson has walked into range and allowed Camacho to start the exchange by hitting it.
He's doing a good job of jabbing now. Hutchinson just landed a good jab, another good jab. Another he jabs is an easy entry. Got to keep your jab up, the corner should tell Hutchinson.
Hutchinson turning to talk to Smoger. Both fighters are getting to know Steve Smoger pretty well.
Sometimes when you look over on the other side of the corner and you see a guy with those kind of trunks on, you just keep following him because you believe he can't fight. But sometimes those trunks will fool you. Camacho is starting to stand his ground a little bit more now, looking for room to punch.
That was the one thing missing from your career, George, unusual trunks. Would have loved to have seen what you might have looked like in a pair of trunks like this, huh?
Me too.
Yeah, right.
George, you think those trunks are a distraction for Hutchinson?
Yeah, he keeps telling him that he's up against someone that can't fight. If only he would have on some solid trunks, maybe Hutchinson would bob and weave a little more.
Think he's afraid to get tangled up in them? You know,
Hutchinson got a good combination that time.
Don't punch, don't punch.
Power that Camacho Jr. has is starting to tell on Hutchinson now.
And he definitely has the greater power of the two, because Hutchinson caught Camacho Jr. flush with a wide right hand there, and Camacho Jr. wasn't even moved.
Dodge Ram. Now with 5-star protection. That's peace of mind that comes with all 2001 Dodge Rams.
If you work around the house, don't you sometimes wish you had a third hand? Well, I now have a third and a fourth hand since I discovered a great new idea from Mastercraft. The Mastercraft Lockjaw, exclusive to Canadian Tire. It is the most ingenious and easy way to hold anything together. Where conventional clamps would also require a third hand to install, you can use the Lockjaw with just one. It adjusts perfectly, and its ratchet tightening action ensures a strong grip.
Without having to use a lot of strength, the adjustment is so precise it can hold together awkward pieces. The precise step-locking design makes it as gentle or as powerful as you need. You choose the pressure, and it locks in position. To unlock it, just press the quick-release trigger. You'll discover hundreds of uses in and around the house.
Wherever you need a helping hand, the Mastercraft Lockjaw will provide the perfect grip to help you do the job.
Get a set of Mastercraft Lockjaws starting at only $9.99 per pair.
No toolbox is complete without the helping hand of the Mastercraft Lockjaws.
Get yours now, only at Canadian Tire. You were legally cloned.
This Friday, they'll do anything to destroy the evidence, and you're the evidence. Take back what's yours. I want my life back. The Sixth Day opens everywhere Friday.
Coming up a little later on in the show, it is the WBC welterweight title fight between Sugar Shane Mosley and Antonio Diaz. Now, also tonight in Las Vegas, the much-anticipated heavyweight title fight between one-time Canadian Lennox Lewis and David Tua. They will go head-to-head. Tua looking for the crown, fighting the much bigger opponent in Lewis.
From November 11th, well, you can hear the end of the fight. New heavyweight champion of the world, all the way from Samoa, by the way of New Zealand. Now fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, USA, David Tua, man. Tua.
In this war, you have to remember you have to bring everything. I'm going to bring everything. Can't just bring power and a hairdo. You got to bring everything.
Power and a hairdo. Tua's definitely got that. I suppose he's got a fighter's chance, but Lennox is the prohibitive favorite because he's that much bigger. Now, they had the weigh-in, and Tua came in at 245 pounds, which is enormous for him. A couple of years ago, he was fighting at about 220. As for Lennox Lewis, he came in at a ripped 249 pounds. Now, as for our bout, Joe Hutchinson, he's got the chin of a champion. He is a competitor. It's just that his hand speed isn't quite there. So far, it's looking good for Camacho Jr.
Larry, what about the 140-pound weight class where these two guys are fighting right now?
A lot of good fighters here. Costa Tszyu, widely considered the champion of the junior welterweight division. Shamber Mitchell and Zab Judah both have belts. Antonio Diaz, one of the rising forces who will be moving up to welterweight in the feature attraction, and another up-and-coming fighter, Hector Comacho Jr. Some real talent there.
Camacho Jr. is the mandatory challenger for Shambe Mitchell's version of the 140-pound title, and the governing body is hoping and expecting that Camacho Jr. may fight Shambe Mitchell next.
I don't think that's going to happen, Jim. His management has made it clear that they think he's still young, still unproven, needs 3, 4, 5, 6 more fights over the next year before they're going to step up to fight for a title. Unless, of course, it becomes a big money attraction.
So in other words, if he's not likely to fight Shambe Mitchell in the next several months, there's even less chance you're going to see him anytime soon against a Costa Tszyu or a Zab Judah.
This fight is getting interesting now.
Yep.
If Hutchinson's going to win this thing, he's got to step up his pace right now. Stop getting hit.
But Camacho keeps hitting him accurately and hard. Hector Comacho Jr. has chosen the 8th round to step up the aggression.
He's doing it. This is when these 7 days notice and 10 days notices start to go against you. These are the championship rounds.
Don't punch, don't punch, don't punch.
For the first time, Hutchinson bumped him to the ropes. He hadn't been doing that all night. Starting to bump into the ropes. Camacho is still landing the right and the left to the body.
And Hutchinson continues to come forward without throwing punches, giving Camacho a chance to pop him as he arrives.
He's a good fighter, Hutchinson. Tough fighter.
Just needs to be a little bit more assertive about trying to be first in his exchanges with this opponent.
Every time the referee said go, he should throw a shot. Don't walk with your hands there. Do something, as he did then.
Larry, there's also been talk of a possible Camacho Jr. matchup with Arturo Gatti. What do you think of that?
Don't punch. Well, Gatti might fight Mosley, might fight De La Hoya. I think the best fight of those three, the most competitive fight, would be him against Camacho Jr. It would also be probably a big event at Madison Square Garden.
Camacho Jr. keeps fighting like this, he can whip all of those guys. Anytime, anywhere.
George, let's not get too excited about this. As he put it, his dad is a superstar. He's just a shooting star. He ain't there yet.
I'm telling you, this guy's got the goods.
High praise from George Foreman for Hector Camacho Jr. making his first HBO appearance, fighting here in the 140-pound weight class with title aspirations in the 135, 140, and 147-pound divisions.
I don't know how he can fight at 135.
This guy's got the goods. It doesn't matter which way he decides to fight in. He is the guy.
Let him out, Joe. Let him out.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine with those legs, and you can't see them well because of the trunks, but making 135 has got to be a challenge.
It would just be a stunt is what it would be.
Steve Smoger walking Joe Hutchinson part of the way back to the ring after a big 8th round for Camacho Jr.
Who let the dogs out?
On every round. Let me do some work there. Okay, let's get some work in there. Give him some water. Let's water him down. Let me work. We won every round. We're way ahead, and he's cut. Give me some water.
Antonio Diaz of Coachella, California, came a long way, and as he says, I didn't fly all the way here from California to lose. He's known Shane Mosley since he was a kid, and his trainer, Lee Espinoza, has a son who beat Mosley in the amateurs when Mosley was a 12-year-old junior.
Don't smack, Junior.
In fact, Espinoza's son reportedly beat both Mosley and De La Hoya when they were little kid amateurs.
Hutchinson is starting to move his head just a little bit now, but he stopped again. Whenever he bobs and weaves and gets in, he does a good job.
8th round was a bad one for Hutchinson. 5 out of 27 by CompuBox numbers against 19 out of 36 for Camacho, who for the first time in the fight landed more than 50% of his shots. Harold, how do you have it?
Okay, Jim, I think Hector's adding to his lead. 78-72, 6-1, 1 even. Hector Camacho Jr. Jim, I didn't score a round even, but it becomes an even round when Hector Camacho Jr. lost the point in the 4th round. His double S Steve Smoger took the point away, so it becomes 9-9. But in any case, the last couple of rounds, Joe Hutchinson's doing just all he's doing is holding, really. Camacho landing all the shots. As Joe Hutchinson presses forward, he keeps running into either a right hook or a straight left hand. So Hector Camacho Jr. basically on hand speed.
Camacho Jr. did well enough in the 8th round that when he glanced over at his father between rounds to see if Camacho Sr. would offer any advice, Camacho Sr. just sort of shrugged his shoulders as if to say, what can I tell you? That was good.
At this point, you got to make them remember you and love you, so you better get a knockout if it's there. And that's what Camacho got to make certain tonight.
I don't think the knockout is there, George.
It's there. All you got to do is double up on that straight left hand. You had him going before they penalized the other guy for the low blow.
Hector Comacho, in his 29 previous fights, only has one knockout past the 5th round.
There it is, right there again.
Here, come here. Step, 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 step.
When you're trying to make a point, you just can't go out there and win a decision.
Well, but you know, George, there are some guys that just won't go. And if this kid stood up for 10 rounds to Gaddy, he's got a chin that was forged in Gary, Indiana, even if he comes from Indianapolis.
There you go. That's why I don't think the knockout is there. He's just too strong and too durable. Hutchinson is one of those dedicated, workmanlike fighters who is just good enough to lose to guys like Hector Comacho Jr. and Arturo Gatti, his last two opponents.
Tenth and final.
Look good.
Last one, right, boss? Okay. Last one, Donnie, Joey. Easy with the water, man. Okay. All these trucks, punch him in the center. Thanks, Paz.
You gotta fight very intelligently. It's the last round. So fight smart.
Último round, más agua.
All right? Come on, you can take it.
Throw everything, Joe. You got to throw everything now. Go upstairs and downstairs. Go upstairs and downstairs.
This is the 10th and final round.
Tenth and final round for Joe Hutchinson and Hector Comacho Jr. And Hutchinson now fully in survival mode through only 19 punches in the 9th round by CompuBox estimation, and Camacho was cruising 17 out of 32, again landing more than half his shots. So it has become, to some extent, target practice for Comacho Jr., who nods at me to let me know that he enjoyed that comment and agrees that it's sort of target practice at this point.
Don't punch, don't punch, don't punch.
That Hutchinson is a tough cookie. He's absorbed some punching like I've never seen before in that weight division. But you don't finish on your toes like that and expect people to come back and
don't punch, don't punch.
Cheer for you. You got to do it.
You're saying,
go ahead.
Excuse me, you're saying, George, that if he doesn't somehow get a knockout in the last 2 minutes, that he's a disappointment?
No. Just go for a knockout anyway. People can smell you trying. But don't cruise in. You don't want to do that.
Camacho jumping out of the way of Hutchinson's attempts.
Well, you're right, George, because the crowd's getting a little restless because he's not making an effort here.
Yeah, you got to make them love you. You got to make them love you if you want them to buy tickets.
Well, you know, but he's got the name. What's in the name? He's going to make a couple $100,000 more than if he was the same fighter without this name.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt to have a good name.
And if he's true to his pre-fight form, he's going to tell us after the fight that he's the reason the place was sold out. Because in the pre-fight promotion, he was unabashed in saying, hey, Mosley's a great champion, but he's dull. I'm the entertainer. I'm the one who's selling this event.
Yeah, well, calling Mosley dull, it's like calling electricity cotton. Don't punch, step out, Joey. Watch him, watch.
Calling Mosley dull may be like calling Michelangelo an artisan or a draftsman. There's nothing dull about the way Shane fights.
Don't punch, step around. They're not booing Comacho because he's fought a bad fight.
He fought a good fight.
There's some booing out there because they want to see him close the show with style.
Which is exactly what George Foreman was recommending.
Break, step back. This is it, baby. This is
Nobody understands the audience better than Big George.
Hutchinson has proven a lot tonight.
He's tough.
He is as tough as they come.
And he's willing.
And right at the very end, with maybe a second left in the fight, there was a clash of heads, and Camacho may have a slight cut on his right eyebrow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you got to fight it out. You just can't
He's a little
stop
bit nonplussed about it.
Yep.
Camacho Jr. thinking, I'm not quite as pretty. All right, let's take a look back at a few significant moments from early in the fight. In the fourth round, Camacho Jr. was guilty of an egregious low blow. You saw it there. He had a point deducted at that moment. It seemed like a fairly close fight. In the fifth round, however, Camacho Jr. got the point back when Hutchinson hit him with a low blow, and because Joe had been warned in advance, he had a point deducted as well. Then in the sixth round, we think Steve Smoger was right, and we think this was the accidental headbutt that caused that cut on the eye of Joe Hutchinson. You can see it. Smoger was right on the money. It was indeed an accidental headbutt that caused that bleeding. But down the stretch, Camacho Jr. throwing less than 40 punches around was landing more than half of them. And Hutchinson, perhaps losing his energy after having taken the fight on only 7 days' notice, wasn't able to put together much output in the closing rounds.
He can't punch. He can't punch a lick.
Joe says he can't punch a lick, George.
He can punch in more than a lick. He's got a little bit of a kick.
Difference of opinion.
Hutchinson is somewhat of a Hercules, though. This guy can take it.
Now, he gives you an honest answer. He thought that Gotti punched like a mule. Let's go to Michael Buffer for the official particular.
Ladies and gentlemen, here at Madison Square Garden, we go to the Budweiser scorecards. Melvina Lathan scores about 96 to 92. Steve Weisfeld has it 97 to 91. And Larry Hazard Jr. scores at 98 to 90, all for the winner by unanimous decision. He's still undefeated. It's junior time. Hector Macho Comacho Jr.
Something less than unanimous acclaim for Camacho Jr. as he gets to 30-0.
When you do your best, you leave out of the ring and raise your hand.
Final punch stat numbers. Hutchinson 112 out of 391. Representative effort, but not enough to beat Camacho Jr., who was landing combinations while Hutchinson was landing one punch at a time. That was the biggest difference in the fight. 157 out of 407 for Camacho Jr. And right now, Larry stands by with Hector Jr.
All right, thank you, Jim. Congratulations, Hector. Are you disappointed that you didn't go out in greater style?
No, I'm just happy with the win, you know. This is, like I said, every fight's a learning process. We got the win, and we move on.
So even though there were some dissatisfied fans out there who wanted to see you make a big effort and a dramatic conclusion, you feel comfortable?
Yeah, because with the win, I mean, the fans enjoy. I mean, they got a boo, a cheer, the same thing. They love it. You should know, Larry.
All right, you're one of the top-ranked junior welterweights. You could fight for a title. Do you think you're ready yet, or do you think you still need some seasoning?
I mean, if I keep seasoning, these champions are in trouble. I'm ready now. Who else? And I leave up to Dan Goose and Mark Presents. My job is to fight, win, and look good.
Thank you very much.
We'll be time. Hey, Larry, man. 20 years ago, you was my father. And now, 2020, you're still with us. You're still with the Camacho. What's the secret, Larry? Tell the secret, Larry.
The secret to keeping young?
They start from the Camachos, eh?
Just keep smiling and watching the Camachos.
God bless you.
Just one thing, guys, from ringside. Joe Hutchinson said to me afterwards that he's a very good boxer, Hector Comacho Jr., but he's been hit harder by featherweights. Jim?
All right, thanks very much, Larry. My secret to staying young would be keep punching and keep your left hand up. Still to come tonight, the main event, which matches Shane Mosley, Sugar Shane Mosley, the welterweight champion of the world, against Antonio Diaz.